Do y'all ever feel like the same influencers and content creators are getting invited on all of the brand trips, going to all the events? So let's talk about why that is. I'm going to break this video down into 5 reasons why you're not getting invited to these brand trips or getting invited to these events. So I'm Destiny, and I do content creation where I actually show you the content that I create on Instagram. So that's I Am Destiny Adams. But on my YouTube channel, I'm showing y'all the behind the scenes and giving content creator tips, and also showing y'all how to build the business behind the scenes. In the past, I've been on brand trips with Alibaba, Amazon. I'm pretty much getting invited to a VIP night or some type of influencer event every single week in Dallas. So let's talk about why you're not getting invited to these events. So the first reason is you haven't identified a niche. So I'm going to say this because a lot of the times people are starting to say, like, you don't have to have a niche, you are the niche. But I'm going to say, in order to not have a niche, you have to have a niche first. So people have to come to your page for something. There has to be something on there that attracts people, that makes them want to follow you. You don't just pop up and people say, hey, I want to follow her because she's cool. Although it happens every now and then. Sometimes people are a unicorn. But if you're not getting invited to these events, then you might not be the unicorn. So let's talk about creating the niche. So with me, like, if you go to my Instagram page, you'll see that a lot of the content that I post is food content. And it's not just regular food content like fast food, but I'm the girl you go to for the vibey Instagrammable spots. So anything that's cute with flowers, they got the cutest drinks. Those are the type of spots that I highlight on my page. But another thing that I do to help myself stand out is that I get dressed in my different outfits to where now I'm adding storytelling, I'm adding my personality, and I'm adding my personal style. So now other brands outside of the food niche, like, they'll come on my page and be like, oh, I love the way her content is set up. So let's say you're having a business brunch or you're having a business meeting and you want to invite content creators. You'll reach out to me because you know I'm going to come dressed within the dress code. I'm going to create the reel, and I'm going to do the voiceover for your business in my personal voice. It's going to be authentic to me. So I've done videos like for the PGA, all from food content that I was posting. When I asked them, like, did you need me to do anything special? They're like, no, we want you to show up however you dress, which y'all know I came in my little tennis outfits for the golf. But yeah, so I showed up in my little cute outfits and I told their story in my voice. So you want to make sure that you have a niche, which is your target market. If you're doing what you're doing so good, people outside of your niche, they're going to contact you. They're going to want you in their spots doing content for their brand. And it's all based on you proving yourself in one certain niche. So after you've proven yourself for so long, it's going to become to a point where you can do anything as long as people know you for something. So number 2, how do brands find you? SEO is very big on social media, especially when it comes to brands finding you. Because as you know, and I tell myself this all the time, when I'm creating my content, I think if I want brands to find me, who are brands hiring to do the marketing for them? Is it people who actually are skilled in social media, like influencers, content creators who know exactly to find? Or are they finding people with marketing degrees? And if they're finding people with marketing degrees, which I truly believe they are, then they're typing things in and seeing who's popping up. Let's say you create content on beauty, like you do makeup. How are brands going to find you? Are you using hashtags? Does your caption say makeup artists in Dallas or makeup enthusiasts in Dallas? Like, how are brands actually finding you? Are you making it easy for them? So one of the things that I love to do is that when I write out my caption, I write exactly what I'm doing in that video. Let's say I'm doing a food video on Red Lobster. In my caption, I will say, today I'm at Red Lobster at their Dallas location. So now it has Red Lobster, it has Dallas in there, trying out, and then I'll put the type of food. So if people are searching that type of food, then I can come up. And then in my hashtags, I'm going to do Red Lobster Dallas, Red Lobster favorites, Dallas foodie, Dallas food, something along those lines. When the brand manager from Red Lobster starts searching for influencers, they can type in Red Lobster, they can go through the tags, they can go through the hashtags, and I'm gonna pop up. So you want to make sure that you're popping up as well. And another thing that I'm going to say about when it comes to SEO is that a lot of the times, especially with social media now, social media is turned into interest based. So if people are interested in Red Lobster, then even those people who aren't finding you, they can still discover you, because now Instagram, TikTok, YouTube is going to start recommending your content to them because it's similar. But how would the algorithm know that your content is similar? You have to make sure that your SEO is on point in all your posts. So whatever you're doing in your video, whatever products you're using, you need to list those out, type those out, however you want to do it, just to make sure that your content is discoverable by brands. Because I run into a lot of people who say, I'm not getting any brands reaching out to me, and then when I look at their content, they're posting Drake quotes as the caption. They're not talking in their video, so there's absolutely no SEO. Like, yeah, the Drake caption was cool back in the day, but nowadays, if you want to get invited or if you want to be on brands radar, you have to tell what your content is about in those caption sections. Number 3, are you posting enough? So let's say you have your niche and you are posting, you're using your SEO, but when brands come to your page, how many posts do you have in order for you to get invited to these events? Because let's say the purpose of these events is to promote their product or promote their new launch. If you're not posting, who's to say you're even going to post about the event or launch? Because a lot of times, a lot of the people who are complaining about not getting invited to these events will have like 20 posts on their page. Like, so if you have 20 posts compared to someone who has maybe 200 to 400 posts, because nowadays people are posting a lot. You get a lot of people, me included, who post every single day. This space is very competitive. So if you're not one of those people who can keep up, it's going to be very hard for you to lock in those deals. So you want to make sure that you're actually posting on your page. Number 4, is your content authentic? So I feel like gone are the days where we can just post lazy content. Well, especially if you look like me, you cannot get away with posting lazy content. And what exactly is lazy content? Lazy content is just content that you're just putting together. Like, y'all know how they have the, what are they called? The CapCut templates, where you just throw all your pictures and everything in there and then they automatically generate you a post. Like, you can't do that no more. Some of the things that I've noticed when it comes to when it comes to getting invited to VIP nights and those type of events is, when I look back at everyone's content, the number one thing that I notice is that they choose people who do voiceovers, or they show themselves in their content. So they're either doing head-on face videos like this where they're explaining something, or they're walking you through and using their voice to explain or tell their story, so you hear it in their voice. Because if you think about it, if a brand has an event and they invite a bunch of content creators from the different walks of life that everyone comes from, they have a bunch of different people telling that story of the brand in their voice. And we know with working with different influencers, like, just because it doesn't connect with this person, they might hear it in this person's voice and now it connects with them. But if your content doesn't do either of those things, then it's going to be very hard for brands to want to work with you and for you to land those type of deals. And also, if you're copying another creator, sometimes brands can pick up on these, like, especially if it's a real popular creator, because we all know certain influencer who has like one thing that they do that if someone else does it, like, we'll know who it came from. You don't want to be the person that's copying everybody else. You want to find what makes you authentic, whether it's the way you edit your content, your storytelling, the way you dress. Something has to be authentic that just applies to your content, so we can start having brands want to put you on these lists. Or even if you want to start introducing yourself to different PR companies in your city, you can, hey, this is my content, this is what I do, this is what makes me special. I would love to be on your PR list to come out to some of your events. And once they look at your content, there needs to be something that sparkles about you, something that makes you different. That's going to make brands say, you know what, we're going to invite her out. We're going to give her a chance. We're going to see what she creates, like how she matches within our environment. And so you want to have that special thing about your content. And I know, like, this takes time to develop, but I'll always say, if you just hop on the camera being you, because a lot of times when we're consuming so much content, like, it's easy for us to adapt someone else's content and we don't know where we got it from. Like, we've seen it so much to where now it becomes a part of us. So I want to say, focus on creating your content more than you are consuming other people's content, because you don't want their voice and picking up their lingo and now you start talking and acting like them. And for number 5, and I know I stressed this throughout this whole video, competition is steep, especially in 2024. So we have everyone wants to get on PR lists, they want to get invited to events, they want to go on brand trips. But let's say you have a whole city of people and that brand has 20 spots. So who's going to get those 20 spots? They're going to go to the people who are authentic, people who are very unique, people who can edit, people who can storytell. Storytelling is very important. The people who are consistent and the people who show up all the time. So you want to make sure that if you want to start getting invited and added on these lists, that you can compete within this, because we have to be realistic nowadays. Like if you're not posting, you're not authentic, you're not doing anything special, you're probably not going to get invited. And you have some brands who, like, they start creating events for smaller creators just to get their foot in the door. And a lot of the times, like if you, let's say you have bigger creative friends, most of these events, they allow you to do a +1. So if your friend loves you, they'll invite you as their +1. And then when you go, you create your own content. So now you're on that brand's radar to, okay, like now we can add her to the PR list, or however they do it. Like if they work with a big company, and normally with these bigger companies, they work with several other brands. So that could be your way of getting through the door. But I just want to stress how competitive it is in this day and age, and with the selling of information, with everyone having access to everything. So now let's say those 20 spots, let's say 20 to 50 spots, let's be generous, 20 to 50 spots, we might have 1,000 different people competing for those spots. So what's going to make you stand out to get one of those spots? And I don't want to say this to discourage anybody. I just want everybody to just step up their game when it comes to being your true self. That's going to be the thing that gets you through the door, is being authentic to your true self. Being able to tell a brand story in your voice, whatever makes you unique. If you're from a certain part of the country and y'all have special lingo, like, and you use that lingo, throw that in. Gone are the days where we just do the cookie cutter professional voice. And I'm gonna be honest, like I used that voice for so long and it wasn't getting me invited to many places. Like I would get a few here and there because my content was AI and tech and we didn't see a lot of black women in those spaces, but now we do. So now it's way more competitive. So I want to encourage everybody to just find your unique storytelling voice, figure out how to edit, stay consistent, and we're gonna get y'all on some of these brand lists. But I'm going to be dropping more tips like that, so make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Make sure you follow my Instagram if you want to see the type of content that I create in my content style. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Peace.